The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Today we're speaking about who's the Halachic mother, because in Jerusalem Post of this past November 21, they have an article, Jewishness of Egg Donation Children Cast into Doubt. We know in Judaism, the Torah tells us, Asher bara Elokim lasot, God created the world, lasot, that we have to improve. The world was left undone to give us a chance to what? Improve the world. V'rapo yirape. God says, V'rapo yirape, that the doctor is obligated to heal a person in any way that he can. So infertility is a sickness, like any illness, and just like when you're sick, you're supposed to go to the doctor. It's just amazing that I picked this topic. The parsha that we read yesterday, so many psukim are spent where Rochel and Leah are trying to obtain the dudarim, the mandrakes. What were the mandrakes, and why? Tell me about it. Took place 3,700 years later. Nachmanides says something amazing. The mandrakes were a fertility herb, and the mothers of Israel are teaching us it's not enough to daven. God only helps those who help themselves. Of course they daven for children, but the Torah is teaching that's not enough. A person has to try to better himself, go to doctors, and these dudayim or fertility herbs. So if a woman has to try to help herself, just like infertility is an illness, like any illness, and a person's obligated to what? To go to a doctor besides davening. Of course you have to daven, but it's not enough. You have to try to help yourself in a natural way, because ein somchin ala nes. The question is, who is the baby is born by test tube IVF? Who is an IVF baby's parents in order to do the mitzvah of what? Of kibbut av v'aim. Does the baby that's born from a test tube, does the baby have to honor his birth mother or the egg donor mother? Question number 2, does bringing an IVF baby into the world fulfill the mitzvah pruvu? The first mitzvah in the Torah is to have children. So if a person has a child through IVF, does he fulfill the mitzvah pruvu? So that we're going to deal with that, with these questions. The Torah tells us the chipshua, man was told to conquer the world. So Nachmanides says, conquer the world means to try to better himself and the world through any ways that he can. It's not an option, it's a mitzvah to continue to improve the world. It's a mitzvah. There's an amazing, the Talmud tells us an amazing story. Now about IVF, does one fulfill the mitzvah pruvu through IVF? There's an amazing midrash that Ben Sira, you heard of Ben Sira? Was considered the son of Jeremiah the prophet, even though his mother never engaged in sexual relations with Jeremiah. A strange midrash, Chanoch. You hear this? That Ben Sira, now the Christians accept him as part of the Bible, but Ben Sira is outside of the Jewish Bible. But he's a great philosopher, and the Talmud quotes him. And the midrash says that he was considered the son of Jeremiah the prophet, even though Jeremiah never engaged in sexual relations with Ben Sira's mother. According to the Midrash, Ben Sira was conceived with the sperm of Jeremiah, collected from a bathtub, and injected into the womb of Ben Sira's mother. You hear this incredible Midrash? 2,000 years ago. That's what the Midrash says. The Midrash teaches that the father is the one who donates the sperm to fertilize the egg. Yiddish. Based on this Midrash, Rav Avadia Yosef and Rav Nebenzahl both rule that the sperm donor is the father of the child, even without sexual intercourse. Incredible. Everything is in the Talmud. Yiddish, Chava? Ben Sira was conceived with the sperm of Jeremiah, collected from a bathtub, and injected into the womb of Ben Sira's mother, and Jeremiah is considered what? The father, even though he never had sexual relations with what? With Ben Sira's mom. So the Medrash teaches that the father is the one who donates the sperm to fertilize the egg. And based on this Midrash, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef and Rav Nebenzahl both rule that the sperm donor is the father of the child, even without the act of sexual intercourse. Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible.
Is the father of the child and has done the mitzvah pruvu. So Rabbi Yosef said that even if you do it through an IVF, the sperm donor has the mitzvah pruvu, the first mitzvah in the Torah, even though no act of sexual relations took place. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
But, okay, so now we established the father. What about, according to Halacha, who is the mother of an IVF baby? Right? If the child is Jewish, does it depend on the birth mother or what? The egg donor. So let's say the egg donor is what? A non-Jewish lady. And the birth mother is what? Jewish. Does the baby need conversion or not? Stay tuned. Let's take a look at our sheets, please. Side number one. Side number one. Okay? Side number one, source 3. This is from Tractate Yevamot. Rabbi Yossi Yom, see side 1, source 3? The first source on number 1, it's source 3. Rabbi Yossi says, Gesh and his Gaye kekotan shanoila domi. What does that mean? The Halacha regards a convert as what? As equivalent to a newborn baby, a new creation. How come it says Gersh and his Gayer? It should say Goish and his Gayer. A non-Jew who converts. But it doesn't say that, it says a convert who converts. What does that mean? That's like double talk. It should say a non-Jew who converts. So the Zohar points out that a non-Jew cannot become a Jew. If he goes through the conversion, he testifies that he was a Jewish neshama from the get-go. Gersh and his Gayer. If a convert goes through with the process and is sincere, it's a siman that he was a Yiddish neshama from the get-go. But he had to do the tikkun, so the neshama got fablungit. How do you say fablungit? It got lost. It had to be born in what? As a non-Jew. And once the tikkun is made, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So therefore, any non-Jew who converts, he was a Jewish neshama from the get-go. And therefore, it doesn't say Goish and his Gayer. It says Gesh and his Gayer. He's like a newborn baby. But now we want to know something else, Larry. If the egg donor is Gentile, does the baby need gerut or not? The egg donor is a Gentile, and the birth mother is what? Jewish. Does the baby need conversion or not? Stay tuned. Don't fall asleep. Look at source number 4. You have a seat, Dorit? You have a seat? A source number 4 on side 1. Din Torah. This is very bizarre. You better fasten your seatbelts for this, Mindel. Din Torah. Shemutta leger shisa imo. O achosam imo. Shenish gairu. Yiddish? Let's say a ger and his mother both convert to Judaism.
No, that's ridiculous.
What?
That's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous? If a ger and his mother both convert to Judaism, right? They are both newborn children. So even though they're genetically related, I'm reading source number 4. You have it, Daniel? Source number 4. So the ger and his mom convert. Even though they are genetically related, if the ger's mother or sister also converted, the ger could what? Say what?
No.
Say what? The ger can marry his own mother. Now don't try this at home. The rabbis prohibited such marriage on the ground that the converts would not feel that they had descended in Kedusha by becoming Jewish. So even though, halachically, a ger and his mother who convert, they're both newborns, and min ha-Torah, they can marry each other because they're no longer mother and son, but the rabbis say, don't do it, it's not nice. Looks like the rabbis are more religious than the Torah. Right?
Right.
They're more machmir. Beryl, I'm a big machmir. I tell my wife, machmir dus, machmir dus, machmir dus. I'm a big machmir myself. But anyway, the rabbis are more machmir. But amazing that a convert is a newborn baby, so she's no longer his mother. He's no longer her son. They're born again. Who said that? Jimmy Carter. Born again. Okay? Now, source number 5, we're going to get to what Larry mentioned. In yesterday's Torah reading, and source number 5, birth may determine maternity. See that? That it's up to the birth mother to decide who the mother is. Look at source number 5. So Leah gave birth to 6 sons, and then, number 5, Mindel, what does it say? Va'acha yolda bas. Then she what? Birth to a daughter, and she called the daughter Dinah. What does Dinah mean? What does the word Dinah mean? Judge. Judgment. Din. Look at source number 6. My va'achar, what does that mean? Afterwards she gave birth to what? Amarav va'achar shadon Leah din matva. Leah judged herself, and she said, Yaakov is supposed to have what? 12 sons. 6 already come from me. And 4 are going to come what? From the concubines. That's 10. If this child that I'm carrying is what? A boy, my poor sister won't even have as many sons as what? As the slave girls. So when she prayed for that, Larry, what happened? The baby, the boy, she was carrying a boy. Look at source number 6. The Gemara includes an agadic. Leah was originally pregnant with another boy. Who was the boy? Who was the boy? Yosef. Leah was carrying Yosef, but prayed that she should instead bear a girl, so that Rachel should have at least what? 2 boys out of 12 tribe. She shouldn't have less than the slave girls. As a result of Leah's prayer, the gender of her embryo was changed from a boy, and she had what? Looks like God performed an IVF switch. You listen to this? Now, if you look at source number 7, that's just amazing. Now, the Targum Yonason was written over 2,000 years ago, Larry, and he describes an IVF procedure. Ein chadash tachas hashemesh. Who said that? There's nothing new under the sun. Source number 7, written by Targum Yonatan over 2,000 years ago. You have it in the Aramaic and you have it in the English. He's describing an IVF procedure. Isn't that amazing? Source number 7. However, the version of Midrash and Targum Yonasan is different. Targum Yonasan understands that Yosef was originally in whose womb? Leah's womb. And Dinah was in what? Rachel's womb. And God switched the embryos in utero or in vitro. What? There appears to be no question that Rachel is subsequently considered to be whose mother? Yosef's mother. Even though he was the egg from whom? From Leah. So therefore, that the halachic mother is determined by what? By birth and not conception. Because Yosef came from Leah's egg. And Hashem put it in whose womb? If doctors can do it, God can do it too, I think.
That's right.
One profession God calls himself in the Torah, Daniel. One profession. Ani Hashem roifecha. Therefore, every Jewish mother wants her son to be a doctor. So if a doctor can do in vitro, God can do it too. So 1 second, Larry. So we see that Yosef, even though his egg came from whom?
From Leah.
Yet Yosef is called whose son? Rachel. So we see, according to this Targum Yonasan, what do we see, Bilha? Bilha, your pasha yesterday. We see that what? That the halachic mother is what? The birth mother, because Yosef is called whose son? And even though the egg came from Leah. So we see that the birth mother determines what? The halachic status of the child, who the mother is. Now, it doesn't just end with there. Look at source number 8. Number 8. This is from Megillat Esther. Esther was an orphan. The Oiminas Hadassah. Mordechai raised Hadassah. Esther had 2 names. Hadassah was her Hebrew name. Esther was her Persian name. He Esther bas Dodo. I'm reading source number 8. Ki ein la'av, she had no father or mother. She was very beautiful, and when her parents died, Mordechai adopted her. Says she had no father and no mother. Which child has no father and no mother? What? Didn't she ever have a child or mother, Mindel?
Yes, of course, yes.
I don't know how she come into the world.
She died in childbirth.
So, but doesn't she mean she had a mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Pasuk said she had no father or mother. Look at source number 9. Source number 9. Number 9. Ki ein la v'eim. When her father and mother died, when her mother was pregnant with Esther, her father died. And in childbirth, her mother died. And Rashi says something incredible. You're sitting down, Yehuda, it's underlined number 9. Number 9. Since her mother died giving birth to her, she's not called a mother. Yeah, Esther had no father or mother. I'm reading source number 9, Mindel. See that on the bottom?
Yeah.
Esther had no father or mother. Chazal explained that her mother died in what? In childbirth. Rashi understands from this that she was never able to be called a mother, because motherhood only begins at what? Birth. So Rashi agrees with Targum Yonatan that motherhood doesn't begin with conception or what? The egg donor, but motherhood begins with birth. So according to this, the egg donor, if it's a non-Jew, the child would not need what? The child would not need conversion. So getting back to what? To the egg donor is a non-Jew. So who is the halachic mother? So Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, Rav Chaim Soloveitchik's father, says, Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, the one who lives in Bet Shemesh, yeah. No, not him, his father. He's Rav Chaim Soloveitchik. That what? That the Talmud in Yuma tells us that the first 40 days of conception, the fertilized egg is called mayim ba'alma. It's only called water. The fertilized egg is not viewed as an entity of any substance prior to 40 days. So since the egg donor's relationship with the fetus ends before the 40th day, says Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, it is a relationship that has no halachic status. Therefore, said Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, Zechat Tzaddik Avracha, therefore we cannot ascribe any type of relationship between the egg donor and what? And the fetus. And Rav Aaron Soloveitchik goes on, I'll quote him, the donor egg is viewed to be as no more than a synthetic material. Therefore, said Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, Zechat Tzaddik Avracha, a child born from a Jewish mother with an implanted egg donated from a Gentile requires no conversion, even according to the strictest interpretation of halacha. So says Rav Aaron Soloveitchik. And he brings a raya, the Targum Yonatan that we just read on source number what? 7. He brings that as a raya. That Rachel was pregnant with Dinah, while Leah was pregnant with whom? With Joseph. Recognizing that Rachel's contribution to the 12 tribes would be only one, Leah prayed to God that her male fetus, Joseph, should be miraculously switched with Rachel's female, Dinah. This would enable Rachel to contribute 2 male sons to the tribes of Israel. God listened, and God performed an IVF on what? On Leah and Rachel. So we see that Joseph's maternity is not attributed to the egg donor Leah, but only to what? The birth mother what? Rachel. So it's amazing how and who agrees? Rav Vadia Yosef agrees with this psak. So does Rav Aaron in Rabbi Nevensol, the chief rabbi of the Rova. May a fertilized egg be destroyed. What is the halachic status of a fertilized egg? is it human? Is it called human only when it's in the womb? And before that it's not human? Can it be destroyed? There's a very strange Gemara. If you go to side number 2, the Gemara relates an incident. I think it's underlined, isn't it? No? Rava created a person. What do you mean he created a person? A Frankenstein. How did he do that, Billa? Footnote 40. Can you tell me how he did that?
There's a study of Sefer Yetzirah,
Right here.
the book of creation. Rava learned how to arrange the letters of God's name with which he created the world. Using such arrangements, created a person according to Rashi.
Who wrote the Sefer Yetzirah, Billa? Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu wrote the Sefer Yetzirah. So the Talmud is telling us that this great sage Rava created a Frankenstein, or whatever you want to call him, using the Sefer Yetzirah.
They would call it a golem.
They would call it a golem? Does it say golem here?
No, but
What does it call it? Let's look at the Hebrew. Rava Bora Gavra. You have the Hebrew there? You found it?
Yeah.
Rava Bora Gavra. Rava created, what does Gavra mean? From the word Gever. A person.
It says the world. He created the world.
Once Gavra means a person, right? Rava Bora Gavra. Right? Created a person. And the word Bora means Yesh Me'ayin. Pretty incredible. Yotze means Yesh Me'yesh. And Bora means Yesh Me'ayin. And the Gemara uses the language of Bara, not Yotzer. He created, what's it called, ex nihilo? I thought only God can do that, David. I thought only God can do, huh? Here it says he, Bara. And what did he do with this, what do you call him? Doesn't say golem. What did he do with it, Billah? Shadre Kamed Rav Zera. He sent this creature before Rav Zera. Surprise! What? The Chacham Tzvi asked the question. Can you use a guy for a minion? Hi? Hey, golem, we need you for a minion. Are you, you have a bris milah? Not a joke. We'll talk about it, David. It's incredible. What's going on? You only have 9 guys in a shul. So you get a Kabbalist to do Sefer Yetzirah, poof. You create a Frankenstein, can use the guy for a minion. Huh? So take a look at this strange Gemara over here. You have that? So Rav Zera spoke to it, but it would not answer. He wouldn't answer. Cat got your tongue? Cat got your tongue? Why wouldn't he answer? Footnote 41, Billa. Why wouldn't he answer?
Does it lack the ability to speak because speech requires the presence of the soul, which only God can create?
So therefore he couldn't answer. Unkala says, what's a human being? Ruach mamalala. What does Ruach mamala mean? A spirit that speaks. A human being is not his bodysuit. Human being is a neshama that speaks. Don't confuse me, Daniel, with my bodysuit. The bodysuit wears out after 120 years. But that's not me. I'm a spirit that speaks. 100 and what? That's who I am. Moving on up. I'm a soul, man. Right? Ruach mamalala. And therefore, he could create the body, but he couldn't create the soul. So therefore, this creature couldn't speak, yes?
Saying that Rava created the bodysuit, but not the
Right. But had a life force, but didn't have a soul. Had a life force like Elsie the cow, or Elma the bull, right? And a life force. So even though the creature looked human, it didn't have a godly soul, because only God can create a godly soul. But the great rabbis can create a creature with a life force like what? Like an animal, even though it looks human. So therefore it couldn't speak. Amalei, Rav Zera said to it, you are a creation of one of my colleagues. What does that mean? Look at note 42. See that, Billah, note 42?
You're created by those who study the Sefer Yetzirah, and thus you're not a real person.
You're a figment of my imagination? Hadal Afrach, return to your dust. Zap. He made him a pile of dirt. Is he guilty of murder?
He didn't have a
What?
soul.
No, he didn't have a soul. Right? The Chacham Tzvi asked on this Gemara, can you use a golem for what? For a minion. And was the rabbi guilty of murder for zapping him? So we see that the golem can be killed. He's not human because speech requires a soul, which only God can create. You hear that?
Yes.
So you're allowed to kill Elsie the cow? No, it's baltashchis. Are you allowed to kill an animal for nothing? No, it's baltashchis. So why did the great rabbi zap him? Okay, he wasn't human, so it's not murder. And you can't use him for a minion because he doesn't have a bris milah, David, right? No, because he doesn't have a soul. For a minion, you can only use a person with a soul. I'm a soul man, as Larry said. So it's not murder, but you're not allowed to destroy an animal for no reason. If you need to eat meat, you need clothes, but stam for no reason, it's baltashchis. How do you say baltashchis in English? You're wasting. So the Mefarshim asked, how could the great rabbi zap this creature? Isn't it baltashchis? Go ahead.
Rabbi, these words that were spoken, are these sealed?
What words?
The words that were spoken to make this creature.
It's a secret. It's a Sefer Yetzirah.
So no one.
But I can surprise you, if you go to Mariah bookstore, you have it in English.
Well, that's what
Someone actually translated the Sefer Yetzirah into English. Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, Zecher Tzaddik Avracha. He translated English, but be careful,
Yeah.
because you might, abracadabra, you might create
Well, that's what I wanted-
Frankenstein.
It doesn't work in English.
How do you know it doesn't work in
It
English?
doesn't work in English.
The golem only speaks Hebrew,
That's right.
right? So beware,
Well, that's what.
right? Beware, right?
Abracadabra is Hebrew.
Abracadabra, what is right? So the question is, Mindel, what right did the rabbi have to kill this creature? It's not murder, but you're not allowed to destroy an animal unless you need food, clothing, or shelter. So why did he destroy this creature? Why is it not baltashchis,
Are you
Doris?
destroying the creature or
Not
the egg?
human.
What?
Are you destroying the creature?
So I want to make a comparison over here. One minute, but before I get... So what? You allowed to kill an animal?
Even
Not
if it
for
wakes
Not to kill a cat for no reason. Is he worse than a cat? The answer is, you're sitting down, Billa? The Mefarshim say he was afraid that this creature might try to get a date with a Jewish girl. So therefore, to eliminate this michshol, the rabbi what? Zapped him. Maybe it was an it, I don't know, but to eliminate a michshol. So I want to make the connection over here of what? Maybe a fertilized egg is like the golem? Rabbi Eliashiv says something amazing. On this Gemara, he says, whether you're allowed to destroy eggs for stem cell research, he says it's the egg, if it's not in the womb, it's not a person, it's like this golem. And there's no problem to destroy it if you can use it for what? For research. You hear what he says? That's pretty incredible.
When did he say that?
Before he died.
And what?
Rabbi Eliashiv. I don't know what that. He died in 2012, so he must have said it before that.
Was his gift to us?
Okay. So anyway, so what do we see from here? It's an amazing story that the Talmud already speaks about the Frankenstein, and this is maybe perhaps where the book got its from, not Frankenstein, the creature, right? This creature, right?
Yaakov Avinu,
Yes.
the children of Yaakov Avinu had also this knowledge of Abraham.
To say Sefer Yetzirah. So that's how they want to answer. Yosef told on his brothers that they eat Eva min achai. Dad, my brothers are eating limb from a living animal. They're terrible. Terrible. So was Yosef lying, or were they eating Eva min achai? Dorit, what's going on? So the Shloach HaKadosh says something incredible. He says that they created this animal through Sefer Yetzirah. An animal created through Sefer Yetzirah doesn't need shchita, and there's no problem Eva min achai, and there's no problem eating it with what? A Big Mac and cheese. And the Shloach says, therefore, Abraham gave them malachim, he gave them milk and meat, and this meat was from an animal from Sefer Yetzirah.
Yeah, you wrote the book.
Artificial meat, what's it called, David? Impossible meat? Or beyond meat?
Yeah, I mean, just
Ein chadash dorit atachas hashemesh. How do you say that in English?
It's
Nothing to do with it.
Who said that? Koheles, Shlomo. So listen, how could the brothers eat Evim and Achai? It's against the Noachide religion to eat flesh from a living animal. So the Shlach Kodesh says, Al Pi Kabbalah, this animal was created to Sefer Yetzirah. And if a Sefer Yetzirah doesn't need Shchita, there's no Din Evim and Achai, and you can eat it with what? With cheese.
What?
So maybe that's the impossible burger, or beyond meat.
And that's what Abraham was doing?
Yeah, Abraham was doing it, and then his grandchildren were doing it. They were dabbling, and so it's artificial meat. So it's not a problem. It doesn't need shchita.
They're gonna make it now.
Now,
They're make this.
so 3,800 years later, we're going back to that, Mindel. What? They're making now artificial meat.
Growing it from the lab.
So it doesn't need shchita. There's no evim and achai. You can eat it with cheese.
There's a controversy whether or not.
That's pretty.
Controversy whether it's flesh or not.
Well, you see, there's nothing new, David, under the sun. What?
It can't be flesh.
No.
Sefer Yetzirah.
Of a male- of a-
What does Sefer Yetzirah mean? The book of creation.
Creation. But Adam actually wrote it, right?
Abraham wrote it.
What?
Oh, I thought he got it from Adam. God gave it to Adam.
Sefer Yetzirah. Formation, right?
What's in the Sefer Yetzirah?
It's how to create creatures.
And other things.
And other things.
About the making of the world.
Right?
Aryeh Kaplan.
He translated into English. And some Kabbalists say that's why God took him. He died, he was 48, 49 years old. Suddenly.
Aryeh Kaplan?
48, 49, suddenly. He wasn't sick. They said he revealed too much. Hashem said, die. Must speak. We got to call you home. You're revealing too much. A genius. He was sitting and eating on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, just nothing, doing
Nothing. And my friend got Hatzolah call.
No.
And that
What's
was
his
dead.
name? What is it?
Aryeh Kaplan, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. Wasn't sick, nothing. But as soon as he translated Sefer Yetzirah, shortly right after that, God said, beam him up. So a lot of things, are not meant to be, not for the public. Yeah, right? Only for great Scott. What?
It was an onus or he was finished?
Maybe Hashem didn't want him to reveal anymore, right?
Was it onus?
God doesn't have to punish us. It's a misnomer, Chava. We say punishment. God never punishes.
That's right. It's all for good.
It's all tough love. It's not a punishment. God has to punish. Is he, God forbid, vindictive?
No.
Chalila, it's tough love. The neshama needs a tikkun. It's like you go to the dentist for a root canal. Is the dentist punishing you?
No.
But he's terrible pain.
He's saving you.
It's not punishing you. Root canal, right? And therefore, the one profession God calls himself, Ani Hashem Roifecha. I am God, your doctor. I am God, your doctor. So any pain is b'toras refuah. Just like a doctor performs painful surgery, is the doctor being cruel? He's being kind. So God says, if you trust Dr. Goldberg, you can trust me. Right? I remember my father, Zecher Tzal Gevracha, he had open heart surgery. The doctor used a chainsaw to open up his chest. And we thanked the doctor. Doc, thank you for using a chainsaw on my father. Because it gave him from 1987 to 1995. How many years did he give him?
8.
Because he used a chainsaw and he opened up his chest. So God says, look, I'm your doctor. Right?
Didn't he have a scalpel?
No, use a chainsaw.
To break the bone.
To break the bone.
Oh, it was an emergency.
So we thanked him. Because it gave my father life from 1987 to 1995. We had him from... So anyway, we see that that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us this wisdom to help. And the Varapo Yerapeh, it's written twice. Heal, says the Rambam It's a mitzvah saseh for the doctor to what? To heal. The Rambam asked himself a question. He was a great doctor. He says, what right do I have to heal the patient? Who made the patient sick?
Hashem.
So if I heal the patient, Bill, am I not going against God? The Rambam is asking at himself.
Yeah, in a way.
God makes your person sick. Nothing happens by chance, Larry. So what right do I have to what? Heal him. Ain't I going against God's will?
Ken.
Says the Rambam, no. God made him sick to give me the opportunity, what? To heal him.
Well, to make a living, otherwise.
To make him.
Otherwise it made no
That's why
money.
God makes sick people.
It's like
To
God-
give the tremendous schus to the doctor to what? To be God's partner to heal that person. And it's a positive mitzvah and a negative mitzvah not to heal.
That's
You're not interfering with God's will, David. You are doing God's will. You're being God's partner. God made him sick to give me the schus to what? To heal him. Yes?
It also sounds like that God put evil in the world. The snake was in the garden already.
That's right.
And
God made evil
He made
in order
evil
for us
in
to
order
what?
for us to commit
To rectify it. To know what good is, to rectify it. That's right. That's right.
So it's the principle.
So he left the world broken and incomplete to give us the awesome privilege, Daniel, to be his what? Partner. God doesn't want
Mr. Tom.
Robot.
puppets. He wants partners. So when the doctor does IVF or any procedure, he is what? Being Hashem's partner. And infertility is a sickness like any sickness. And you're obligated to help yourself. Who taught us that? Rachel and Leah. Why they want to do Dayim, and why tell me about it 3,700 years later, Larry? Why not just daven to Hashem? Of course they daven, the mothers, but they're teaching us, their children, not enough. You have to help yourself, and only then will God help you. What a message.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.